Hello.
Oh, hello, hello.
Hello
Welcome.
there, you lovely people. And by lovely people, I mean me and Brandon. Oh, we have Leviathan done in the chat already.
Leviathan
I want to say
thanks for joining
hello.
us.
Thank you so much for joining us. It says, I want to say hello, but I don't feel welcome today.
Oh, what? Why? You're always
What?
welcome here.
We welcome all shapes and sizes. Triangles, dodecahedrons, larger triangles and dodecahedrons, all shapes and sizes.
Yeah, I think you listed
Welcome.
every shape and size there, which
For sure.
is a hard thing to do, but
Not easy. I do my best to cater to everybody, though.
yeah.
Well,
Ian,
goodness gracious.
how you been?
I can't complain. I've been feeling. How about you?
You know, I'm not allowed to complain. It's in my contract. So
You're not? Are you under strict orders?
I am.
Did you sign an NDA?
I signed an NCA, which means non-complaint agreement. It was a real mistake.
Oh, I see.
Because
Yeah,
well,
real
never mind.
dumb
I
of
can't
you.
talk about why it was a mistake. Instead of
Freaking
be
idiot.
complaining.
Me,
Yeah,
I signed
no.
an NBA,
Cool.
which is National Basketball Association. A kid came up to me and was like, "Hey, are you Larry Bird? Can you sign my basketball?" And I was like, "Hell yeah!" And then they saw my signature and they were just like, "You're not Larry Bird." And I was like,
People are always
"Shit."
mixing you up with Larry Bird, aren't they?
We're tall, lanky guys.
Yeah.
We just tend to fall into the same umbrella.
Similar qualities. You're always wearing basketball shorts, and
I am, and I'm always anytime I start twirling a basketball on my finger, and then you start hearing like a dude whistle and going like.
exactly.
That's
And
how
you
I like
always-
whistle, folks.
And every time you introduce yourself, you're like, "Hi, I'm Larry Bird,"
Oh, I do say that sometimes.
which is a really
yeah.
weird way to introduce yourself. I can see why people get.
It's a
confused.
tick. It's a nervous tick.
Yeah. Leviathan Den says, "Been a bummy day. Can't anticipate what else may go wrong today. DrawBomb could get canceled because of my bad luck today." Oh my gosh.
Oh,
I
goodness
hope
gracious.
not. I'm sorry to hear about your
God.
bad luck.
If DrawBomb gets canceled, I'll be surprised.
Yeah, I didn't know it was possible. I mean, I know Jeff Bezos is, he's busy going to space, so he probably doesn't have time to shut us down right now.
If only Richard Branson were here to save us.
But he's in
Space
space
travel.
too. All the billionaires
Wait,
are
are
in
both
space.
Jeff? I thought it was just Richard. Is Jeff Bezos in space too? Did he
No,
go
he's
do a
not there
space
yet.
thing?
He's not there
Oh, I
yet.
see. He's gunning for it though. You just know, like all the other like trillionaires were just like that motherfucker.
I think they know something that we don't. Earth is gonna
Well, they're
go
all
for
trying-
blue. If all the billionaires go to space at the same time, we should probably be nervous.
Oh yeah, well I mean it's their fault too. Like they're doing it and they're just like, yeah, I mean, fuck these guys.
Yeah.
And like even though we'll all die, I'll sit content knowing like a billionaire doesn't know how to make a piece of toast for themselves, and they'll just like all starve to death, even like more painfully than we did.
Well, they can still make people work for them, but instead of payment, they'll just be like given room in the bunker.
Yeah, but like, what's stopping them from just like like Jeff Bezos gets like a piece of toast, he's just like, oh, this is not nearly as good as my butler did it, and then someone just like brains him with a pipe.
Well, yeah,
don't
murder will
see-
be allowed when when they live in the bunker.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, who's gonna save? Is Jeff Bezos gonna like save himself, like with all of his no skills? No, it's
That's true. That's true. And
gonna
one
be
of
like
these
Alien. I'll pay
People
you.
just
It's like
like
money's
Alien.
useless, man. You build the world.
A small Jeff Bezos will pop out of someone's stomach.
Yeah.
Leviathan Den says, "Thanks for having me. You make my everything suck a little less." Well, we're happy to do that. Hopefully things turn around for you a little bit. Sorry you're having a bad day. That's no good.
You're having a rough day there. you know, we strive to alleviate the pains of this cold hard world.
That's our goal. I'd say that's our main goal.
Oh, for
Alleviating
sure.
pains.
Alleviate. Wait, is that a medicine? I
Aleve.
feel like that's Aleve. That's what I'm thinking of. Let's just make sure we don't say that at all during our show, and then we'll be in the clear.
Is sponsored by Aleve.
Yep. Which kind of leaf? Like a maple? Maybe
A leaf. A maple leaf.
Right. A maple leaf. Sponsored by Canada. Gosh, is there anything fancy happening in the next couple days, Brandon? Should we talk about things that are fancy and happening in the next couple days?
I think we should talk about fancy things.
Okay. Are we fancy lads?
We're gonna be fancy lads tomorrow. Well, you especially. You're hopping on a big, fancy jet. Not one that goes to
I'm
space.
a jet setter.
But the normal ones.
No, just ones that stay in our cursed planet.
I'm surprised these billionaires don't send some pores on their ship first to make sure it works. They probably do.
Well, I
right?
think they did. I mean, like they also had like 6. Like I saw it was like, what's his name? Shit, I totally just said it like 5 minutes
Richard
ago. and I'm
Branson?
already Richard Branson, thank you. Richard Branson flew to space with 6 other like Virgin employees, and I'm just like, okay, so like what? The accountant and like a bunch of people who you were just like, it's fine if these dumbasses die.
You won a lottery at work. You get to ride in his ship first before anyone else.
Yeah. There's only one escape pod though, and guess who gets it? Richard Branson. Anyways, it's definitely like a 2012 situation where they're all just like building an ark, and are just like getting ready to leave us all behind.
Oh, Zone Dog says, "Hello, fellows. I'm not sure, but the stream seems quite quiet.
Quite quiet.
Our voice and
Quiet.
everything, or just music, or just our voices. Tell us, Zone Dog. Tell us.
Tell us.
Yeah, the whole shebang. Well,
Well,
that's no good.
I just gave us a listen. I mean, what are our volumes hitting at? Can we just raise everything up a little bit, or are they already like hitting that
Some
red
stuff
line?
is kind of turned up all the way. Your thing is turned up all the way. I could turn mine up a little bit more.
My volume was pretty good. From what I heard, I felt like my volume was nice and loud.
Okay. Let me adjust mine a little bit. Thanks for letting us know, by the way. We'll get that
Yes, we appreciate
fixed
it.
up the best we can. Test. Let's turn
Penis. Oh wait. Shit.
Penis.
Fast. Penis. What is this? Episode 74.
It's 74, all right. The big 7-4.
Big
What a momentous
74.
occasion. So it's still quiet. I don't know. It's not any different than what we normally do. Maybe we're always
Maybe
quiet.
your volume's quiet, Austin. Why don't
Hey,
you
Leviathan
think about
Den.
that?
Leviathan Den, you're here all the time. Do we sound quiet, or what do you think?
Are we some quiet
You
boys?
can be our control group.
Yeah.
Boy.
Gosh.
Speaking of Zone Dog, he's also a fancy boy.
He's also he's part of the fancy lad experience. So yeah,
Yeah.
let's just break it down into what the facts are.
Go ahead and break it
It was
down the facts of life.
It was my birthday a week or 2 ago, probably 2 weeks ago, something like that. And fucking the moment my birthday happened, like once I was free, I was doing a thing actually like the midnight of the birthday, but like, you know, as soon as I was available, I got a call from YouTube. And I was just like, these motherfuckers are gonna tell me happy birthday. And then certainly you did by giving me a gift. The gift of life.
We gave him life-saving medicine that he needed.
It was very helpful.
Okay, so
No, but
Doug
you
says we're still pretty quiet. He tried it with a different thing. I don't know. Give me a second here. I'm gonna try one more thing, and then if I can't do anything, we'll just do this one the normal way, and then we'll deal with it later. Cause yeah, this is normal levels we're at usually. me take a listen. Sorry to keep messing with this stuff on the
Hey,
air.
I mean, hey, we have no idea. We have no way of knowing until we're in the thick of it.
You know what? I don't know. We'll have to mess with it later, I think. But
All right. Well, tell you what. When I'm out there, I'll take a ding dang look at your OBS. See what
yeah,
I figure out.
yeah, that's right. Okay. Anyway,
But in the meantime, turn your fucking volume up.
yeah. Jeez, old Pete.
Jesus. Anyways, just to finish the story, y'all bought me plane tickets to visit you, you and Zone Dog. So tomorrow's the day, and that's why I did not stream this morning. I was packing and
Nice.
checking in and arranging essentials for such trip.
Where are you going? Where are you flying to?
Oh gosh, well I'm gonna be visiting you guys.
Going
out there
to going to the Windy City.
That's right, where they fart all the time. Just constant
Dog.
farting.
How windy is the city right now? I need to know.
How farty are people?
I packed all my windbreakers, and yeah, I think that's all you need, right? Zone Dog says, "It's been so dang windy, I've been eating beans." Because of
Zone
farts.
Dog says, as for my volume, I'm not the only watching the stream. It's about turning anything else down. Like I said, man, we can't fix it right now. We'll fix it.
Jeez.
We just can't fix it now. Well, we will fix it. I'll take a look, see at the volumes when we are out there in the Windy City and Windy City adjacent places. Adjacent. I've been told adjacent is not a proper pronunciation for that word, although it's a lot easier to say. That hard A is like a real stretch for the vocal cords.
We're all gonna get together tomorrow, and me and you will be like, "Hey, Austin, how's it going? How's it going?" And they'll be like, "You guys are too quiet."
Yeah.
And then you'll understand it's just our voices.
Life passing you by at a quiet volume.
We were this is a groggy stream. We both admitted we're a little tired today, so
Oh,
try
yeah,
to
we
keep
both.
try to keep that energy up despite all that.
Yeah. You know what I will say? OBS should have like a master volume knob, just so you can see
Wouldn't that be nice?
what everything's adding up to, and then you like, cause also like any volume audio track has like a filter, so you can put like gain on any filter. So if everything's quiet, you could just gain that shit up. But I don't know, man.
But nah, that'd be too easy.
Too easy. Too much control in the hands of us plebs. Nope.
So Ian, how has your week been?
I can't complain. I've just been chilling. I've just been hardcore chills.
You had a fever, so you had some hardcore chills.
I was just shaking and shivering in my boots and my blanket when I was asleep. Like I just got my second dose of the COVID shot all over again.
Oh man.
By the way, if you're out there and you're on my flight tomorrow, please have a COVID shot.
At least I'll have to wear masks, so it'll be booted off.
They
like,
do, yes.
Mid-flight,
that's correct.
they'll just open the door and throw you out. No
I'll kick them
parachute.
off myself. I'll throw
They're
them
like,
out
would
that
you like-
damn door?
Would you like pretzels or peanuts? And they're like, I'll take peanuts. And they're like, here you go. And they give you peanuts, and then they boot you out the side of the plane.
Right. Sorry, I forgot to ask if you wanted like a ginger ale or a orange juice. That's like as you fall out the building. So they're kind of. It would actually be more like. I want to know if you wanted a ginger ale or an orange juice. You probably stop being able to hear that after a certain point, but it's fine.
I imagine you hear nothing when you're free falling. It's probably just like wind, right?
Yeah. It's like that scene in Crank 2. Did you ever watch the Crank movies?
I've seen the first one.
Okay, so in the sequel, so like the first movie ends, This is a spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't seen a movie that came out like 11 years ago, but in the first movie, the movie ends with he's thrown out of a helicopter, and then so as he's falling like for 20 seconds, like he calls his girlfriend and tells her that he loves her, or that he's sorry. I don't think he says I don't know. Anyways, he tells her he's sorry, and then in the next movie he's fallen on the ground, and then he gets revived through fancy magic medicine, and he meets up with her again. He's like, "Oh, did you get my message?" And she's like, "What message?" And then it like cuts to his answering machine, and it's just the sound of wind rushing, and like you occasionally hear like a
That's pretty funny.
yeah, that's a very funny joke. I like those movies. They're good movies.
I should give them a try. It's been a long time since I saw them.
It's, you know what, ever since like I haven't seen a movie that matches their energy ever since. Like they literally like, I mean, sure, like a lot of movies have been like, fuck it, we'll just do whatever the fuck we want, but those movies did it like something special. Like, not to spoil all the great moments of Crank 2, but another moment I really appreciate is that like one of the first places he goes is like some kind of shitty strip club or whatever. I'm sure the movies are problematic as hell too, because of like trans representation or things like that. I don't know. I could be wrong. Haven't seen them in a very long time. But anyways, so like he goes to this club. He meets the lady character of the movie, who's like the main major lady character of the movie, and I think it's Bai Ling who's the actress. But anyways, they go outside this club that he gets his ass kicked in. And then he gets like a hatchet, and then he says, "Wait one moment," and then he like walks in the club again, and you just see like the outside of the building, and like you can tell there's a kerfuffle going on in the building, and then like limbs just start flying out of different windows in the building. Like, it's great. It's truly like nuts. It's a very nuts movie.
We should watch those as the group that we've been watching.
I would be okay with that. Austin and Kyle watched Crank 2 in theaters, and I did not go. I forget why. I remember them being like, "We saw it in theaters."
You were mad at them that day.
Probably mad at them. I was probably being like, "My volume's loud, okay, Austin?" But yeah, they saw it in theaters, and then they came in the next day going like, "Holy shit, what a crazy movie!" That's it. That's all I remember. I saw the movie in college, so I didn't see it with them.
Let's see. Expert Attack RPG says, "Beloved DrawBomb, hello, welcome.
Hello.
Thanks for tuning in to this.
Thank you so much for being here."
Episode. And Zone Dog says, "Kaiju battle." Is that something that happens?
Yeah, that happens in the battle too. It's not exactly. It's not like Godzilla. It's hard to explain, but it is a significant moment in the film.
Alright. Let's have to watch it.
If we're gonna watch them, I feel like I shouldn't give away all the secrets.
I don't want you to spoil it for me.
We're giving away two of the best bits.
Why would you do that? Why would you go and ruin that? Oh no. Is Ian gone? Seems that way. I booted him off for spoiling Crank, so now this is just my show. So welcome to the new and improved DrawBomb. I'm your one and only host, Brandon. Not joined by Ian. Yeah, I really think this is going to be a big positive change for the show. So yeah, welcome. The only issue is now I have to carry the conversation by myself, and you know, as you can tell, yes, I'm very good at that, but for how long? So I am driving out to Chicago. Oh my gosh, he just left the draw pile too. Yeah, I am driving out to Chicago tomorrow, which is fun, but I haven't really personally driven downtown Chicago, so I'm a little bit nervous about that, but it shouldn't be too bad. Zone Dog, I'm planning on getting there around, I don't know, like probably, I would guess 3. That's my goal. Maybe a little earlier. It's not really much of a drive. It's like 2 hours 45 minutes for me. Oh, there he is. Hello, welcome back.
Yeah, it's like my internet didn't even die. I looked in the thing and it was just like, yeah, the internet's on. Your computer disconnected from the internet for no reason. So I don't know. Anyways,
I booted you out for spoiling Crank.
how dare you?
Goodbye.
Remember what I was talking about? I was talking about what they've made since the Crank movies. They made the second Ghost Rider movie, and apparently they haven't made anything since then. Bummer, because I really like their stuff. Although they also made Jonah Hex, and that movie was a train wreck.
Who's the director?
For Jonah Hex, or the director for Crank and Crank 2?
You keep saying they, so I was curious who.
Oh yeah, it's Mark Neveldine and Brian Taylor. They work as a duo.
Okay, cool. That's fun. Yeah, I'll have to watch it. I'll have to give it a little look-see.
I recommend it. They're very fun. I'm kind of surprised they haven't done anything since Ghost Rider 2, which came out in 2011.
What's happened to them?
Oh, I guess
the band breakup.
That's what I'm seeing right now. Okay, so the one guy... Oh, you know what? I think the one guy made that movie... Like a Nicolas Cage movie where parents get, like, this primal urge to kill their young.
Oh.
And Nicolas Cage is, like, one of the parents in the movie. Called, like, the... Hold on. It's called, like, Savaging. Like that, or
I have not heard of that.
On it's I'm looking it up right now. I remember seeing it on Amazon Prime. I didn't see the movie, but I remember seeing that it was on. Yeah, so the one guy, Brian Taylor, of Neveldine and Taylor, he directed that movie. It's basically like, so there's like this thing where the plot of the movie is like, animals in the wild will get this primal instinct to like eat their young and kill their young if they don't think that they have like the resources to like take care of them or whatever, and it's called savaging, I think, or that could be some bullshit just purely made up for the purpose of the film. But anyways, so these kids are like all at school or whatever, and then like somehow all the parents in the small town get like this primal urge to kill their young. So
they get the savaging.
They get the savaging, yeah. So, oh, it's called Mom and Dad is the name of the movie. So yeah, Nicolas Cage, and I forget who plays his wife. I recognized her. Selma Blair. She was in the Hellboy movies, and she was in Cruel Intentions. Anyways. So yeah, the whole movie is like these two kids come home from school and their parents are trying to murder them, and that's the movie.
Seems fun, potentially.
Yeah, well, it's directed by the guy who made one of the guys who made Crank. So the movie's also fucking apeshit, which makes it even more fun. But yeah, so I guess that guy went and continued to direct movies, and as a duo, they stopped working together. Yeah, I know, right? Because they worked very... Oh, and apparently he is the creator... You know that TV series Happy? Where...
oh yeah, it was
that guy from...
Jim Carrey. Wasn't it Jim Carrey?
No, it's
my bad.
the guy from Law and Order SVU.
Yeah, I do know what you're talking about, actually.
Yeah, he like starts to imagine like a unicorn. Apparently he's the creator of that TV show, which I was not aware of at all.
I should check out that show.
I should, now that I know that guy's involved. I'm definitely... I mean, I've been kind of meaning to check it out originally, but there was never any rush, you know? Because I was just kind of like, this show looks like it could be fun, but the concept doesn't intrigue me enough to
be
like, oh boy, let me get down to business. But you know,
Is that what you say when you're excited to watch a show?
that's what I say when I'm about to do anything I thoroughly enjoy. Like I take my pants off and I'm just like, oh boy, let's get down to business. Oh boy. It's a masturbation joke for those in the anyways.
Oh, I get it. Okay. Yep.
Yeah. I'm full of them.
Masturbation jokes.
Well, semen, and I need to get them out. It's like our little children. I'm sorry. I'm about to go on a trip, folks. So these are the last words you might ever hear from me. Who knows? I hope not.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Me and Austin are bringing you to Chicago to kill you.
That'd be weird. That'd be
It's
the
a very-
longest catfish ever.
It's a very complicated catfish. Finally,
It's
it's
very
about to pay
first-
off.
Yeah, first I have to know Austin from middle school.
Yeah.
Then I have to start knowing you in high school over the internet.
Yes.
Then we meet up like 4 times and have a great time. And then, only then, after we've had 4 great times, does the plan finally come to fruition to murder
Have
me?
to
for no reason.
have to collaborate on illustration related stuff for hundreds of hours and play video games for hundreds of hours. And then, and only then, it finally we can move into the final phase of the plan where we just kill you
Exactly.
for no benefit.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, what's even like the plot of
Look,
like,
we don't
like...
know. We were both actors who were hired for this, so we don't. I mean,
Oh, okay.
people who pay us, I'm not sure why they hate you so much and have since
Some
you were
sort of-
in middle school. It's probably
Y'all were
something
just,
with the occult.
Yeah, you were mesmerized by like a metal band, made a whole bunch of like Japanese school children jump onto some train tracks.
Exactly.
Have you ever seen that clip on YouTube?
No, I don't get the reference, but I was just.
Like there's this movie. This is like a movie that came out in Japan, I think. And like the opening scene in the movie is like 20 school children get on like a subway platform and hold hands, and then like as like a train approaches the platform, they all just like jump in front of it, and then it's just like you see you see like all the people going like ah, as like blood hits their face.
There's a train conductor who needs a lot of therapy now
Yeah.
for hitting an entire class of children.
All the school. I like saw that clip on YouTube like way back when. I remember being like, what the fuck is this? And then like I looked up the movie and it was like only available in Japan, so there was no way I would ever be able to see it. So I looked up the plot.
You gotta go to
It was
Japan
like-
to watch that movie.
Gotta go to Japan to watch Suicide Club. Like I think if I remember what I read correctly, like it's like a metal band or something like that is like under the influence of some kind of occult religion thing. So like the metal band makes songs for the religion, and then the people hear the songs, and then they start getting all crazy. If I remember correctly, I could be completely wrong. It's a Wikipedia article I read like 10 years ago.
Well, that sounds great.
I've always wanted to see the movie though. It sounds like it'd be a hell of a flick.
Yeah, it's a interesting concept. And that's
It's a hell of an opener.
movie. It is. It is. It's a real attention getter.
Yeah, that's the thing is like so many movies are like made or broken by like the opening scene. You know, like It Follows, great opening scene that honestly I think sets the pace for the rest of the movie. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know what you mean.
You've seen It Follows, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like you remember in that opening scene where it's like the girl and she's just sort of running, and like you don't know what the fuck she's running from, but you get the sense that she's running away from something.
Yeah.
And then like the next shot is like her dead body on a beach, like with her leg all like gross looking and fucked up, and like she's dead.
Yeah.
And it's like that movie's like the movie is made way more terrifying when you see like the damage that the monster does to her. Because then like the rest of the movie is most like aside from the one dude who gets like murdered like 3/4 of the way into the movie, you don't know what the monster does to you except for that opening scene. So it's like it really sets the tone for like why you should be afraid in the first place.
I think horror movies that don't straight up show you what the danger is and let your imagination do some of the heavy lifting is the most effective ones.
Oh, for sure. But also with It Follows, the monster is like, you don't like, the monster just sort of looks like people. So like they're just slowly walking towards you. So you're just kind of like, what should, like, how scared should I be? But if you see like the girl with the messed up leg, you don't know how her leg got that way, but you know the monster did it. So it's sort of like still leaving something open to the imagination, but it's also like still you're just like, I would not want that to happen to me. Like, no, thank you.
Zone Dog says that was Hereditary for him, and yeah, Hereditary, I loved that, but Zone Dog says I wish it stayed super ambiguous. I agree, it might have benefited from that, but at the same time, I don't know if everybody agrees, but I liked what it ended up being. I liked the reveal.
It's nice to see that movie.
I thought it was pretty fun. But that movie, the opening, it's not exactly like a cold open. It takes a little bit to get to it, but the opening like event in the movie is really shocking. Oh my god! Now I'm gonna have to start all over about this Hereditary thing.
Welcome to DrawBomb episode 47. Gosh, I could just go to sleep.
No, don't take an. Oh no.
Are we quiet?
We gotta turn our mics up.
What are you saying?
The intro to Hereditary is like super. It's super difficult to watch. It's just like really brutal. But it definitely gets your attention. That's for sure.
Let's start breaching into the topic of opening like scenes of movies, or like not necessarily opening scenes, but movies that had that opening sort of event that either like really made the movie or honestly really hurt the movie. Like, you know, Hereditary is one you said that was very good. I need to see that movie. I really should. I need to see Midsummer too. Those are two movies I've been like dying to see, but at the same time, every time I'm just like, I could watch Hereditary or Midsummer. I'm just like, not feeling it right now.
Maybe unpopular. Oh, sorry, keep going.
No. I'll let you say what you're gonna say first.
So maybe unpopular opinion, but I didn't care that much about Midsommar. It's like well shot and interesting and weird, but the story just didn't really do that much for me. It just seemed more like a lot of people loved it, so maybe I'm probably the odd man out here, but I felt like it was more like just shocking for the sake of being shocking, and that was most of it to me. I'm sure there's a lot of symbolism and stuff. I mean, there definitely is, but still, it was just not my favorite movie. Super weird, but it wasn't bad, just not for me, really.
I think the main reason I haven't watched those movies is like the same reason I haven't watched it. Like nowadays, if I'm gonna sit down and watch a movie, it's almost like here goes the next 2 hours of my life, and it feels like a big commitment. But anytime I feel that way, if I just sit down and like watch the movie, it doesn't feel like as big of a commitment as like I'm making it up to be in my head, you know?
For sure, for sure. Me and Morgan a lot of time will be like, I'm like, do you want to watch a movie? And she's like, no, I don't want to watch a whole movie. So let's watch a TV show, and then we watch like 5 episodes of the show, which amounts to like the length of 2 movies.
Exactly.
And it's like, all right. Well,
I think I just need to.
It's just the idea.
I just need to, like. Yeah, it's just the idea of like having something that you're like is set in stone. Like, oh, I'm gonna watch this thing now for like this long. But it's like, you just hit the play button and start watching it. It becomes not bad.
Very true.
A movie that I felt like had a bad opening was have you ever seen the movie? It's another horror movie. It's called The Bye Bye Man.
No, but I did make fun of the name of it a lot when it came out. I've never seen it, but it was at the same time. I think it was at the same time that La La Land came out, so I just kept annoying my roommates. Like, do you want to go see Bye Bye Man or La La Land? It's a joke that's really not that great, but I thought I kept saying it over and over.
It's fun to say. It's fun to be the person to say it, not so much to be the person who hears it. I think, especially if you say it like
the Goo Goo Gaga Man coming out this summer.
It's a bad movie for sure. It's not good.
You've talked about it a little bit in the past.
I have. I've also I watched it with my ex, But we watched like this guy Ralph the Movie Maker on YouTube shit on the movie before we watched the movie, and then we saw it was on Netflix, and we were just like, okay, well, like, let's give the movie a shot anyways. We watched a dude shit on the movie for like 30 minutes. Let's like see if he's over exaggerating, or what have you. And like we watched hit like that was the first review of his that we had seen, and we were kind of like, this guy is angry about this movie. And then we watched the movie. And we actually watched more of his stuff too, and we were just like, no, this guy brings up like good points about everything he reviews, so I trust this guy's opinion somewhat more so. But still, if I have the option to watch this movie, I'll still check it out, whatever. But it's a pretty dumb fucking movie. The concept could be scary. It's like one of those things where like the concept could be bad, but also the concept is just so vague that of course it could be something scary because like the idea is the Bye Bye Man. He infects your brain as soon as you hear his name. Like, you think his name, and then he infects your mind so that all you can
So
start
he's
to
like
think of it.
the game?
Exactly. He is the
Okay.
game. As soon as you are aware of the game, you're playing the game, and then he slowly, like, makes you see shit and hallucinates until you eventually just kill yourself or you die in some
What a
crazy way.
dickhead.
He's a real jerk.
How do you not
like,
think about the Bye Bye Man?
Exactly. Like, so no one knows his existence, and then they like find a picture frame or something like that with like the Bye Bye Man written on the back of it, and then like reading that his name on that thing is how they get infected essentially, and then things just sort of spiral out of control from there. But it's a very dumb movie. It's not done well. It looks bad and all that stuff, and yeah, that's like the movie is like them just essentially dying because they heard the Bye Bye Man, and then like they also inadvertently infect like 8 other people or something like that. Real dumb movie though, so dumb.
It seems strange to me that for the entire concept being that the name is what kills you, they gave it the dumbest name they could think of.
Right?
Like you can come up
I think
with
that's like a
better.
point
It's supposed to sound like
the-
silly, and then it murders you.
Yeah, I think so, because I think they read the if they don't in the movie, then that's also another reason the movie is so goofy, is because unless I'm remembering incorrectly, like they read Bye Bye Man and they're just like, this is a dumb children's book sounding name. And if they don't say that, because they also, there's an equal possibility that they read the Bye Bye Man, they're just like, what is this? In like classic horror movie fashion of just like, seeing like ancient runes written on like a dead body and being like, what are these? Could it have something to do with the dead body? Anyways, they get their minds infected. They kill like 4 other people because they also tell them about the Bye Bye Man before they realize that knowing his name is what kills you. Anyways, that's the movie. That's basically the plot of the movie. It's not very good, but there's an opening scene where it's like one of those long takes where they make it seem like it's all one shot, or it is all one shot, whatever. And it's like this guy in like the 1950s or something like that. He comes to his house and just like shoots his whole family, and he's like, "Did you tell anybody the name?" And they're like, "What are you talking about?" And then he shoots him. And then he goes like across the street and shoots those people.
Is it like a zombie thing? Like they're trying to like take out people that might be infecting people by knowing it?
Yeah, essentially, like anyone who knows, he's like basically he knows the nature of the creature, I think, is what you're supposed to get from the implication, and he's sort of taking out people who may have heard the name as like a safety hazard. But because it's all done in one take, and they kind of like things don't. It's not like the cleanest take. And also like the performances aren't great, right? It doesn't really, it's as a shot, it doesn't super make sense to have it be all one take. Like I feel like there's an economy to shooting, and like if your shot in the movie is a one take, like there's a reason why it's that way. And if there's no like real discernible reason, kind of just like, okay, well, like you could have edited this and made it that work better.
Now you guys are just being show-offs. You're just trying to show that you can do this for no reason.
Yeah. I think they were basically just kind of like, oh, we could make this all one take. And did.
The Bye Bye Man. So how many stars do you give the Bye Bye Man?
I give it like 1.5.
1.5 stars. Wow.
Zone Dog says, so rough, I think, in regards to Midsummer, or possibly to
the opening of. He was talking about the
Hereditary.
opening of Hereditary.
Gotcha. Yeah, I still need to see those movies. And then, oh hey, our plan paid off? That means?
Maybe he's talking about the elaborate catfish. I'm not sure.
Oh, that's,
We're
so
getting
then,
to
like,
these
once I go there.
comments too late.
Yeah, that's the hard thing about Twitch, is you read a comment that's, like, 5 minutes ago, and, like, you've, like, talked about 7 different subjects since then, and then, like, this happens all the time when I comment on quick Twitch chats, and then they're just like, okay, so, something's, wait? Ooh, someone tells us they want to be, they're asking us if we want to be famous. I can't ban them, though. So, whoever's able to ban them.
I've always wanted to be famous.
The ban hammer. And yeah, Zone Dog also says one takes definitely need to have a reason. Yeah, I mean, otherwise you could just, like, edit it around them and make, like, use the best takes for different things and, like, get good angles, but for that shot, yeah, it didn't really make sense for it to be a one take, because nothing, like, the guy, like, knocks on his front door, it's locked, he shoots the front door in the middle, and then opens it, which doesn't make sense.
That's how you unlock a door.
Yeah, with the shotgun. And yeah, it doesn't super make sense. Like, for instance...
Oh, man. I'm assuming they're talking about the Bye Bye Man and not us, so don't take it personally, Ian.
Okay. I was gonna cry, but I'll move past it.
Yeah.
But, like, for instance, It Follows did open on a one take, but there it sort of made sense because it was given the sense of, like, this girl being chased and, like, her running through this neighborhood and, like, freaking out, and it sort of, like, enhanced the intensity of the scenario, because you're just like, what's she running from? Like, and it also sort of replicates what the monster might be seeing, like, sort of the point of view of the monster, because it's just sort of slowly following this girl as she runs down the street. So yeah, one takes need to have a reason. Oh, we've been asked to hydrate.
All right.
Don't mind if I do.
That's a good cup of water.
That's some water right there. Other opening scenes that made or broke the movie, or did nothing for the movie.
I'm trying to think of some good examples of that.
Yeah, I'm just trying to go through my mind of, like, what movies I like, and, like, if their opening scene was any good.
Well, anybody in the chat has any good ones?
Yeah, feel free to chime in, folks.
But yeah, a good intro
it's like-
will set the tone for the entire movie.
Yeah, like, for instance, Fight Club. Fight Club's an interesting one because it doesn't, like, a lot of movies will sort of, like, some movies will just, like, not even pay attention to the opening scene. It's just literally the beginning of the plot, and it's not like the opening scene sort of illuminates anything extra for the plot or something like that. I feel like the art of an opening scene is very specific.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so Zone Dog says the Final Destination movies, that's a pretty good example, because those are all, like, everyone's at, like, a public event of some kind, and then something goes wrong and, like, murders 18 people, and then, like, 3 people just barely get out of the way, and then that's, like, the people who are going to be hunted by the Spectre of Death the rest of the movie.
Austin, don't talk about Final Destination. Ian has to get on a plane tomorrow.
That's true. Well, I'm more worried about driving behind a truck with a bunch of logs in it, or
Right.
going to an NASCAR event.
Yeah, those seem
but
like
also-
scary.
Also, the plane's, like, the first movie, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the original one.
Gotcha. He says The Revenant. Have you seen The Revenant?
I actually
saw
haven't. I actually
What he's
haven't.
talking about then?
I feel like I should,
Alright.
but I have not.
He says Pieces of Woman has a nuts opening, which I believe is this woman, like, starts just breaking off her nose, and she's like, "Look, it's a piece of me."
That's
Everyone's like, "Oh, no."
most definitely what that's about. The
Um,
name is so literal, you know. A lot of
Very
movies don't
literal.
do that. They try to be a little bit more subtle in their naming, but that movie, they went for it.
He says we should watch it in regards to The Revenant, I believe.
Yes.
That or Pieces of a Woman or Final Destination. I'm not sure, but I'm not.
That reaction was to us saying we hadn't seen The Revenant. So I saw
Good
it
movie.
here. Yeah, we'll have to watch it.
Yeah. I haven't seen Birdman either. That was directed by the guy who did The Revenant. That's a movie that's all one long take.
It's definitely shot like one.
Yeah, I mean it's not
obviously.
literally.
Yeah, but
That's.
I mean it doesn't. A lot of movies do that where it looks like one, but obviously they didn't do that, and that's fine. It doesn't lose points for not.
Yeah, like the director didn't make their lives impossibly harder. Like that's.
I care about the viewing experience. I don't care about like, well, look at this crazy difficult thing we did.
Yeah.
To bring you this shot, you know. It's like as long as if it looks like one, then I think mission accomplished.
You know what TV show had a great long take?
What's that?
Was fucking.
I
was thinking the guy with the. I was thinking the guy with the fucking yeah. I was thinking the guy with the glasses should be in like a big suit, like a Man in Black kind of situation.
I had him in one, and then I took him out of it.
We could easily fix that though. But True Detective season 1.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna say that. Awesome guest too, True Detective.
Yeah, that fucking long take is so damn good. Like, first of all,
I should rewatch that show.
I heavily recommend. I've actually watched it within the last 3 years or so. I mean, it came out, I want to say like almost 10 years ago at this point. But I watched season 1 all over again, like I would say 2 years ago. Still so good.
I was out getting some food with friends a couple weeks ago, and the theme song to for season 1 at least, I don't know, it started playing, and I was like, oh shit, I need to watch that show again. I'd
so
forgotten
good.
about
That theme
it
song
until
was
that
so
moment.
good too.
Yeah.
Everything about that season was just peak television.
That
was the show I think I feel like that helped revitalize Matthew McConaughey's career as a actual actor.
I'm sure it didn't hurt.
Part of it, that and Dallas Buyers Club, I feel like those two worked in tandem.
It's a good show. I never watched any of the other seasons.
I haven't either. I've heard they're not nearly as good.
Yeah, that's kind of what I've heard too. Unfortunately.
What do you think of that True Detective title sequence, says Zone Dog? Damn good.
It's good. It's the good stuff.
2 is bad, and 3 seemed alright, didn't finish.
Yeah, that's kind of what I've heard. You know.
Yeah, I've heard very similar things.
So I didn't really bother.
You know what's funny is after True Detective season 1 came out, I feel like I saw that title sequence recreated in a couple of other TV shows, like The Jinx.
Yeah.
I feel like their opening sequence is very True Detective inspired, and then I saw, like when I was with my ex, we watched this. She likes to watch like true crime stuff, and so we watched this one British true crime documentary about like. It was like about Lacey Peterson or something like that, like a high-profile case, but like they recreate, like they would have like talk to investigators and they like recreated scenes with like actors who didn't look anything like the damn people, and it felt very exploitative when I watched it. I was just kind of like, this show makes me feel grimy. I don't like this. But their opening sequence was like trying to do what True Detective, or not True Detective, they were trying to do what The Jinx did, while The Jinx was already doing kind of what True Detective did.
They're copying a copy.
Exactly, which is just, you know, the mark of something doing really somebody just
playing telephone.
Playing telephone, just trying to ride like the waves of the latest hot, like trying to ride a trend essentially, but also involving somebody's horrible murder on a boat. So it's like feels extra exploitative. I know Key and Peele, their 4th season, they recreated, like, they sort of did, like, a True Detective sort of thing, but, like, they were straight up going for a parody, so.
I love a nice title sequence. That's another thing that, like, very, very, like, simply can set the tone for a show.
Yeah. Title sequences are hard, too. Do you remember, like, in the 90s, and, like, shows before that, like, title sequences used to be, like, so much, like you'd have to like wait for 3 minutes for the title sequence to be done, and then like, okay, we're like, we don't need that. And then Frasier, I think, is one of the first shows to be like, our title sequence is 5 seconds long, and it's just the title, and then we're done, and then we move on to the episode. So like,
yeah, I think like opening credits and title sequences and stuff were something that were a lot bigger, like even pre-90s, like
yeah,
like 70s and stuff like that, and like kind of went away for a while, and now I think they're kind of coming back.
They're both back and they're not. Like, I think now there's like an even mix. Like Letterkenny's title sequence is like 5 seconds long. It's just like the logo and like the guitar riff. It's Always Sunny has a full-length title sequence, and like for some, it's not even like a very fancy title sequence. It's them. They have a shitty handheld camera and they're just driving around different populated streets.
Yeah.
Like I could name all the streets. Like I'm like, oh, there's Vine Street. That's South Street. That's the highway that goes behind the stadium. But for some reason, even though it's like like by all measures, it's a very lame title sequence, I watch it every time, and I don't get bored watching it for some reason, because I think I just love that show so much.
Yeah. Well, you're still usually reeling off that cold opens, because the cold opens are some of the best jokes of the show. And then it cuts to that, and I don't know. I agree. It works, like, for some reason.
It works. The song is great too, and the song is like the soundtrack of It's Always, like, I feel like It's Always Sunny works so well also because the soundtrack is so
it's
pitch
like
perfect somehow.
Royalty-free music that you hear everywhere else too.
Yeah.
But it works really well. And now, like, they've almost claimed those songs. They did a thing where they like picked music that was the cheapest, and now when you hear other shows use it, they're like, hey, they're stealing It's Always Sunny's music. It's like,
yeah.
It's like they made it their own music by being.
Those songs were like
so
probably
iconic.
made for yeah, it's so iconic, and those shows were probably made for like another show before It's Always Sunny, like probably for like Leave It to Beaver, or like, you know, just standard production music shit.
Yeah. But yeah, you hear those in, like, Curb uses them occasionally, like, because they do a similar thing.
Vibe. Which came out first, Curb or It's Always Sunny?
I think Curb. Pretty sure Curb did.
That title sequence re-kicked titles.
Zone Dog confirms that yes, Curb came out first.
Okay. And so I think Zone Dog's saying that the title sequence from True Detective was so good that it made people start doing title sequences again, which I'll believe. I think a lot of things, like when a show's a big phenomenon, like True Detective. I mean, also Game of Thrones was out in time, and Game of Thrones was doing their whole fucking ass title sequence thing. Fucking ass title sequence is what I just said. But they have a very fancy title sequence, like all this 3D animation making out like these game pieces. Like,
oh yeah,
like
yeah.
You're playing like the world's most expensive game of Mousetrap. And it changes every season too, like to replicate like events that are going on in the show.
I thought Westworld season 1 had a pretty cool title sequence.
I need to see Westworld. I still haven't seen that.
Oh, Zone Dog just actually mentioned Westworld.
Oh yeah.
So the same studios, Game of Thrones. Nice. And True Detective.
I think.
Oh, so it's the same people made all of them, or the same studio at least. That's pretty cool.
And The Crown.
I didn't know that. I've never seen The Crown's intro actually.
I haven't either.
But
I've seen an episode of The Crown.
How was it?
So, I mean, I came in like I came down from my room and my roommates were watching it, and so I like. It seems interesting. Like it's basically like telling a dramatized version of like the current royal family, like upbringing, or possibly even before that. I don't know. So they showed like Prince Philip at like an academy, and like he was getting his ass kicked because like of some punishment that was unfair, and he like does something like wild and crazy that like proves that he's got an honest spirit or something. It felt very sort of romanticizing, like
pro royals.
Yeah, and like I don't give a shit
Weird.
about that. Like y'all are rich and famous, have grown up in wealth and privilege. I'm not too bothered.
Yeah, that's a weird thing. Like your bloodline is just all it takes for you to get like.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't want to talk about it too much because I don't really know. I don't live over there. I don't really know exactly how it works. But the vibe I get is some tax dollars pay for all their shit, right? Just because of who they are.
Thanks. I mean, I have to assume.
I'd be
like,
annoyed if I was a poor person like paying taxes and they're getting it to like pay for their bullshit.
Yeah, like they don't even do it. Like, I mean, again,
I don't know if that's accurate.
Their
but
politics. They don't do a whole lot. Like they have a prime minister, and basically the queen, I think, has the power to veto something if she really wants to do it. But it would also be like a big deal if the queen were to veto anything nowadays.
Yeah,
So
I
they
think it's
also
more like an
generally
honorary thing at this point.
Yeah, it's just so weird. I don't know. Like maybe it's not weird. Maybe it's definitely weird. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't fucking know.
I probably shouldn't have too much of an opinion because of how much I don't know about it. But
I generally tried not to have an opinion on things I know nothing about. I feel like it's a good.
It's a smart move. It's a smart move.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Twin Peaks is one of my favorite title sequences. Says Extra Attack RPG. I haven't watched Twin Peaks. You know what? I was gonna watch Twin Peaks recently because I saw that they were gonna be off of Netflix at like the end of June, and then I never got around to it, and I realized like day 2 of July, and I was just like, ah, man, now I gotta like do some extra bullshit to watch Twin Peaks.
Mr. Chance. I've seen some of Twin Peaks, but I haven't watched all of it.
It was still on Netflix because I remember for a while they were like, this show's going off Netflix this date, and then like I checked after that and they were just like, just kidding, we got another year, we bought it for another year. Although they do that a lot less now because all the other like streaming services like claim to hold it.
Let's see. Yeah, didn't they come out with a new season on Netflix, or did that release somewhere else?
That was I think that was the original. The original network, I think. They came out with a new season.
Okay.
I think. I mean, I don't know. Could have been FX, because FX has been, like, doing a lot of shows, like, sort of bringing... Like, for instance, FX, I think, is where the Fargo show is
yeah.
like, located. And I know Fargo started out as a movie and then became a TV show, but I get similar vibes between Fargo and like the resurgence of Twin Peaks, I guess. Even though Fargo is actually more of a True Detective sort of situation.
Fargo's weird. I saw the first season. It was good. I haven't seen any. I thought it was pretty good, although it's kind of like it almost feels like a retelling of the story of the movie in some ways. Yeah, I never saw any of the other seasons at all.
I've heard it's good, and I've heard every season is like a new story.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. I like a good anthology show.
Yeah, me too. Keeps it fresh. I just like in general like stories that are planned out from start to finish, you know, instead of just kind of like wandering your way through. Because I feel like you get a more concise story.
It's more focused. It's less
exactly.
like filler. It's just cool also because it also feels like, you know, if you have a long-running TV show, you could easily coast by on like, oh, this is the show we've made. These are the characters. Now we sort of tread water until we get canceled or until we decide to actually end it. But like with an anthology, it's sort of just like, this is the story, man. Like, enjoy it.
Right.
You know what? I wish more shows did the American Horror Story thing, which American Horror Story itself is a show that I both enjoy and don't enjoy. I'm not nearly caught up on that show, but like every season there are parts that I think are really cool, that I think they do really well, and then the other half of the season I'm just like cringing out of my skin.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm trying to kill the part of me that cringes. I'm just trying to embrace. I'm trying to like live in the moment and embrace life. But at the same time, like sometimes that show is really fucking dumb and awkward. But I enjoy that American Horror Story 1. I would say American Horror Story was one of the first shows to make a comeback with anthology seasons. You know, I feel like that was one of the first shows to do it.
Right. And like the way they bring up a lot of the cast through each season is kind of cool.
That's the thing I wish more shows would do, is I love how American Horror Story, like, same cast, but they all play new characters, and sometimes those characters are, like, completely unrecognizable. Like, a lot of times you can be like, oh, that's that guy from this season, but, like, occasionally the person will be like unrecognizable from what their previous role was, and I love that. I think that's like so fun because it sort of is the embodiment of like an actor taking on a new persona. It sort of like gives you a chance to see like what are these people really capable of.
Yeah, I like that quite a bit too. I haven't been able to get into American Horror Story. I've only seen the first season, and I tried to watch a different season, and I just was like, I can't do this. I don't know why it didn't hit for me. It's just too like. From what I've seen, season 1, I liked it up until a certain point. It got to the end, and it just did some weird tonal shift that I wasn't.
It really did, didn't it?
It turned from like actually attempting to be a scary show to like bunch of goofy ghosts living in a house together. Like they're like wisecracking with each other. Yeah, 100%. That's a better description. And so that was weird to me. And then the other season I watched, and I say watched very lightly because I only saw like an episode or two, I think was the Insane Asylum one. And the thing that I've noticed about this show is that they instead of picking a thing, they try to do all the horror themes in one season. Like that episode had like robots and alien, like robot like bugs and aliens and like a murderer and like a guy who's like experimenting on people, and like they all did that like within like the first episode or two, and I'm like, focus. I don't know, it was too much for me.
The rest of the season is them basically like unpacking all those different storylines and like seeing them through their conclusion. And like season 2 is, I liked it a lot more than season 1 for a lot of the reasons you just described. It's hard because there's so much in that happens in that season where I'm just like, this is just some awkward bad TV right now. But then like they would do things where I'm like, that shit was fucking dope. That was some good television right there. Why isn't the show like this all the time? And it's because, you know, it's hard to recreate your best moments, but like they had moments that were really cool, and then moments that were just like so awkward to watch, and I was just like, this is not good TV right here. But the ending of that season, I think, like the second half of that season, I think is where it really picks up, and then like it becomes, and like the final moments of that season were like so good in my opinion.
Nice.
The way it all kind of came together.
Yeah, I think I agree with what you're saying. Like when it's good, it feels really good, but it's just like when it's bad, it's like I feel embarrassed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I'm stoked for the new American Horror Story Hulu show where every episode is a new story. That sounds cool.
Oh yeah, see, I could do that. I feel like that would force them to be more focused, and that might qualm some of the issues I have with the show.
Yeah. I really enjoyed American Horror Story Roanoke, but no one ever agrees with me. LOL. That said, I'm glad Archer is back to being Archer, because the last couple of seasons of Archer, they were Archer was in a coma, and then he
heard a little bit about that.
Like every season
in a while.
So yeah, Archer did an interesting thing where the one you could tell they were getting bored with the secret agent shtick for a while. I may have already talked about this on the show, but I like to talk about TVs and stuff. So here I am. But so Archer season 5 was Archer Vice, where they're no longer secret agents. Their company gets disbanded. Now they're cocaine peddlers, and it's like this whole sort of cocaine story going on. And that was fun. It was fun, but as parts of it, I felt like the whole Cheryl being a country singer and then like having this like weird country soundtrack and all that stuff, it just felt very mismatched to the show to me.
That's fair.
And then the season after that, season 6, they go back to being secret agents by the way like they explain it in the plot. And then season 7 is Archer something else, where it's basically like a 1970s detective story with like Hollywood or something like that. So it's kind of like neo-noir 70s style, like exploitation noir sort of stuff.
Okay.
And then the way that season ends, the next season starts with Archer's in a coma. Which unfortunately that's like such, because like the way season 7 ends is a big plot twist and you're like, oh my god, but if you know that he's in a coma in the following seasons, it's sort of just like you're waiting for the reason why he would be in a coma. So when you find out, it's sort of like, yeah, I saw that coming, because again, he's in a coma for the next 3 seasons. And then they have like Archer blah blah blah, Archer Dreamland, which is a lot of fun. Archer, the adventure one where they sort of recreate like the Golden Monkey. They like have a specific show they're like copying the tone from, and they even make a joke about it like in the one episode. And they're like, we're looking for like a thing, maybe a golden monkey, and then the character says, no, we're not getting a golden monkey, and the camera like zooms in on her face as she says that, and she like points at the camera. And then the season after that was the space one, which was a lot of fun, but that one doesn't even, like, that one's frustrating too because they have this whole plot set up and then they don't even end it in a satisfying way because then Archer wakes up from his coma. And then the new season is back to Archer being in the coma, but it's, 3 years later, the characters have their lives have all changed dramatically. And it's interesting because, like, it's Archer sort of coming to terms with people moving on from him when he's like such a self-centered piece of shit anyways. And then the way the season ends is very funny because it's sort of, I don't know how to explain it without directly spoiling it, so I just won't. But it's funny. I like what they did with it. So I'm excited to see what they do next with the show, but I would not be surprised if at any point they just like stop making episodes because they've switched their tone so much. Like, I just imagine they're bored to death of doing shit.
Right. I don't know. Maybe they're bored, but I think they're... Are you done with that? Sorry, I just erased everything.
Oh, yeah, no, we're good. What was that?
I don't know if I'd say they're bored. Maybe that's the case. I mean, who can know unless you're working on it. But I imagine they were just trying to keep it fresh, would be my guess.
That's fair.
Maybe for them and maybe for the viewers. I don't know. Maybe for both. Maybe they were a little bored. But so that I kind of like admire their attempt, whether it worked or not. Because I feel like a lot of shows do get stagnant, especially animated shows that go a long time.
Very much so.
So, or just shows in general, not just animated.
Yeah, like when you're just like doing like it's like a high concept sort of show concept in the first place. So then when you do it for like 8 seasons, it's like, okay, well, I didn't think we'd make it past season 3, and this is like a very niche topic. Like, where do we go from here?
Right.
So I can see that, but I think the showrunner of Archer, he like left after blank. That's I think another reason why I think like they maybe got bored, but also I don't fucking know. Like maybe he just wanted to work on a new season set to premiere on August though, so that's cool.
Nice.
That's nice.
Cool. So, what should we draw? Should we bring up a prompt?
Prompts. Let's get the chat involved. Let's get them audience participating. We got 2 people who are chatting in here. They're saying things. They can do things with their hands if they so desire. I don't know. I am real quick gonna take the sweatshirt off because I've just started sweating.
Yeah,
like
it's
crazy
too.
It's like cold as shit in this house, and then it just like all of a sudden I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum, so I just gotta...
It rained the last couple days here, so it was cool. Now it's starting to heat up again. Alright, let's see. If anybody in the chat has a prompt, we can draw that. Otherwise, I can look for one.
Oh no.
Oh no?
Was that TOS right there? Was that explicit?
I didn't hear it.
Well, no, I saw on the corner of the screen
there.
you could see my bare back.
Oh my god. Yeah, I think that's gonna get us canceled. You're allowed to show you. Well, actually, no. They have jacuzzi, like a whole page for jacuzzi streams now. Which
This is true.
we should put a donation bar at the bottom to buy a jacuzzi so that we can finally reach that level.
We should do it. Yeah, we should like, if we get enough money, at a certain point, we'll do a DrawBomb jacuzzi stream.
It's like we're drawing on paper and like it's just getting like, we hold it up and it's all just like wet. Damn it.
Yeah. This looked a lot better before my hands touched it.
Some suggestions are make a new ridiculous American Horror Story season in your drawings. Some Zone Dog said draw the end battle from Endgame. Extra Attack RPG says, I think Zodog's fucking with us because that would be...
Yeah. So that'd be the
right,
3 hours.
You're gonna miss your plane tomorrow.
Yeah.
Extra Tech RPG says American Horror Story Marvel.
I could see us going somewhere with that.
I can try. I just haven't really watched enough of the show.
You don't have to know about American Horror Story. You just have to know who the characters of Marvel are, and then turn them into like horror tropes. Like you've watched a lot of horror movies, so you know like horror tropes and things like that. So just basically like, what would be Iron Man's horror trope? What would be the Hulk's horror trope? Like Hulk would be like Hills Have Eyes type character.
Like a
Iron Man would
type
be,
thing.
yeah. Iron Man would be like or Frankenstein. Yeah, Iron Man would be like either a killer robot or like a masked killer, like Leatherface or something like that, but like metal face. I don't know. It's open to interpretation. If you don't like that idea though, we don't have to do that.
I'm okay with doing that. I'm gonna follow your lead about the way you described Hulk. So I'm gonna make mutant Hulk. I guess he already is mutant Hulk, but I'm gonna make him more mutant-y.
Yeah, like kind of like Toxic Avengers Hulk.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Extra Attack says, well, Zone Dog says draw Ian's plane, which, nope. And Extra Attack says American Horror Story tries to match like 5 horror tropes in each season. So yeah, so we just gotta, you know.
Yes, they do.
So I'll try and think of like who characters. I guess Spider-Man would be like the Fly. Like,
yeah, he'd be half spider for sure.
yeah. So real quick, just Google these pictures that won't be horrifying to just stare at a screenshot of.
The Hulk.
Hulk.
Man, it's amazing how technology has allowed the Hulk to have a Mark Ruffalo face. We've come so far.
We've
We've
broken
done
new
it.
ground. So people in the chat, have you all remembered any other great cold openings? Any other great anthology TV shows, TV show intro sequences? Shit you did and didn't like about American Horror Story? What are your thoughts? In the meantime, Brandon, have you been watching anything? Have you been?
Yeah, I've been watching some different stuff. I've been watching Loki, which is pretty fun. What else? I watched a few episodes of Dave. It's been pretty good.
I still need to watch the newest season of that.
Yeah, you were the one who got me on the show to begin with.
Oh, I didn't. I thought. Interesting. Okay. It's a good show.
Yeah, I like it. What else? Let's see.
Oh,
So
you
Dog
know what?
says Saving Private Ryan has a hell of an opening. I don't recall the opening.
That's true. Yeah, just the entire Normandy invasion.
Oh, is that the opening of the movie?
Yeah, it's just the fucking invasion of Normandy, and it's in all of its brutal.
I do remember that scene. I just didn't remember it being the opening.
I'm pretty sure that's the opening scene. I could be wrong, or it could be Private Ryan being captured. I actually haven't seen that movie. Pretty sure it's the invasion of Normandy, though. Technically, it opens with the old guy. So I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. At the grave.
You know, the old guy.
Old man. I did finally watch that episode of I Think You Should Leave that I hadn't seen. So if you want, we could talk about I Think You Should Leave.
Oh yeah,
that's
I watched
a show.
that too. That's a good show.
I have many thoughts on that show.
What do you think about the season as a whole?
So I really liked it. I feel like there are a lot more sketches this season where it ends, and I'm just like, what the fuck was the point of all of that?
Yeah.
Then like there's like a couple of sketches like that in the first season, but I felt like all of them had a comedic through line that I could follow, whereas this season sometimes they'll just like do something where I understand why it's supposed to be outlandish and crazy, but I'm not sure why it's funny.
Yeah.
I
think that's a
like it's
fair
still like a goofy
assessment.
scenario. What was that?
I said I think that's a fair assessment.
But I mean, I still agree with what I said when we were playing Conan, in that every season of like season 1 of I Think You Should Leave, season 2 of I Think You Should Leave, and then his one episode he did of on the characters. Every single one of those has made me cry laughing at one point or another, which is a very good track record.
Yeah.
And
it's a high goal.
what was that?
That's a lofty goal.
It is very much so. So I think that's pretty good. But yeah, like there's just like some episode like episode 1, 2, and 4, all just were full of sketches where I was just like, this is crazy. I can't wait to find out where this is going. And then it just ends, and I'm just like, what? What was the fucking?
Turns out it wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah, it's just that was it. Like, and like, it's fine. I get it. Like, you're making just a weird scenario, but sometimes, like, in season 1, I can remember that every sketch would be weird, but eventually I would find like the point of the laughter in it, and like the ghost hunting house, like when they're in the house and like doing the ghost tour, like that was actually a sketch where the fucking the trailer for the show was funnier than that sketch was. I feel like.
I didn't watch
which is interesting.
The trailers, but
right. So like, in that sketch, you know, they're like, oh, we're doing the adults hour now, so we can say whatever the hell we want, and then he just starts saying like horsecock and stuff during the tour, and like, it's a very awkward scenario, and then he gets yelled at and stuff, and like it's funny, I get it, but like in the trailer for the season. It just shows the guy going like, all right, we're gonna begin the ghost tour, and then it shows him holding his hand up and says, every one of these little fuckers ever jump out of the fucking wall, and then like that's where it cuts, which would have been way funnier if it's like a really over-eager, like vulgar guy at a ghost tour rather than like a guy just sort of being really awkward and saying horsecocks all the time.
Right.
What was that?
No, I was agreeing.
Oh. But yeah, I mean, that courtroom sketch literally made me cry laughing. It was so damn good. And there's a lot of moments individually that I think are very funny. But yeah, I don't know. I liked what season 2 did overall. Like, some of their sketches were just like really like the one sketch about like the doll that like poops and lies about it was like pretty horrifying, honestly. But I understood what they were, I think, saying with it. It like wasn't funny. It was actually a little very disturbing. But I got what they were like, what their point of the sketch was. Which
it reminded me of like a Tim and Eric thing more.
It was very Tim and Eric. I think it was like, it was definitely saying something about like the standards we put on like young girls in society, and sort of like how we like sort of train them as kids growing up to sort of be exploited and things like that. Which I mean, I could be wrong. I could just be reading into the sketch way more than was thought into it, but I got that vibe from it, and I feel like it was a very creepy sketch, but, you know, for what they were saying, it worked. And then the rest of the episode was, like, I loved, in the same episode, it was the sketch with the driving instructor.
Oh, yeah. Or, he wasn't a driving instructor, it was just a guy, like, in a parking lot, right? Is that what you're talking about?
No, it was like he had the class, and he was just like, okay, I'm gonna show you this film. That
oh,
shows,
right,
like,
with the tables.
Yes, exactly. And that sketch was very funny. And then like it ends with the sketch in the Claire's, and that was a very funny sketch. And then it also just ends very heartfelt and sad, I guess. Very introspective. But I didn't get like that same sort of like mixture of like funny and sometimes like making a statement from all the sketches.
No, some were just outlandish for the sake of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I like season 1 better, but it was still good. I still liked it a lot, and I hope they make more of it in the future.
Yeah, I liked season 1 more, but I wasn't disappointed by season 2.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I got what I came there for.
Yeah, exactly. That courtroom sketch, that was so fucking funny. That was just like that is like the perfect sketch, in my opinion. The way like it just progressed, and like, again, I could be reading way too much into it, but I do love how like it's the courtroom thing, but then it also turns into like about this white guy who's like claims he's making like a very noble stand about wearing a hat, and then he like yells at a guy in a wheelchair and a woman, and then like a black woman defends him in court, and that's like sort of I feel like that's making a statement somewhat, but
Yeah,
it was more
definitely might have been going that way, yeah, but I don't know, yeah, that was a good sketch. What, I'm trying to think, there was something else. Oh yeah, the other thing, you finally convinced me. I started watching Frasier.
Oh yeah.
So.
And where are you at right now? What are you feeling? I want to talk all about Frasier with you.
I only just started it. I'm like, I don't know, 5 or 6 episodes in, but it's good. It's good. I like I had said, I'd watched a lot of it in the past, but I was probably too young to appreciate most of it. So, yeah, it's been fun. I like it so far. I will continue watching it. But
It's
I
a
don't have a
very
lot to
good
say yet
comfort.
because I'm still pretty early in.
Gotcha. It's a very good comfort show because it's got a formula for sure, and once they hit their stride, it's just like you're watching like, you know, another 8 seasons of them just like doing that for every episode, and that works out really well. I think when the show really clicked for me, and you probably haven't gotten there yet, is when they're trying to buy their dad a new chair. That was like the show. That was the episode where I was watching the show, and it finally like sort of I was like, oh, okay. I have like, it's like when you like have a radio scanner or something like that, and it's trying to like figure out the frequency of whatever you're trying to like sort of connect it to, and then eventually your brain just sort of like finally reaches that frequency and it like syncs up.
It clicks for you.
Yeah.
I haven't got to that episode yet, no, but
I think it's a season 2 episode. It could be late season 1 though. I'm not sure.
Zone Dog says that Elfin lied anime.
Oh God, yeah, it sure
What is-
does. So
I'm not following.
we haven't watched all of it, but a buddy of ours in high school showed us Elfin Lied. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Oh, Elfin Lied.
And it's really weird. It's like a very fan servicey sort of anime because like got like a naked girl in it for the opening sequence, but like it's like both fan servicey and not at all fan servicey because the opening sequence of the show is like it's a governmental facility or like a science facility of some kind, and they're like, we have the test subject is escaping, and so this like naked anime girl with like a weird face mask on like comes out of the place and just starts like tearing people apart with her mind. And it's very violent, and it's very bloody, very gory. They have like a ditzy like secretary character who you think is like the comic relief of the show, and then she just gets her head pulled off and like blood spat on everybody from her. And you're just like, oh no, they killed the comic relief secretary who's just a klutz. And then like the rest of the show sort of like slows way the hell down and is just like, hold on, now this girl is gonna get found at a beach by like a weird, I think they're brother and sister sort of situation, and then like it becomes a little bit slice of life with this girl who probably has superpowers. We didn't watch the rest of the show, then we didn't like have time to like stick around and find out everything else, but we saw the opening sequence and it was very violent. A lot of things happening in that sequence. Is it a good show? I don't know. Could be. Our friend was a fan.
I hadn't heard of that one, actually. And after that raving review, I may continue to not see it. I don't know.
Yeah. I you know, I wouldn't even call it review. It's more of a.
Yeah.
It's
I saw
like
part of.
its art style is very, very anime. Though we gotta hydrate. But one sec. I want to talk about this water bottle then for a brief moment after I finish my Elfin Lied speech.
I would love to
But,
get another water bottle.
The art style for Elfin Lied is super anime. Like everyone's got eyes that are as big as their head. and everyone's like, it just looked like, imagine like the most anime sort of art style you can think of, and Elfen Lied looks like that.
Got it.
Zone Dog says, I just started watching Demon Slayer and it's lit.
I had a friend recommend that to me yesterday.
I've had like 8 people recommend Demon Slayer.
I'll give that a try.
I've had a lot of people recommend Demon Slayer, and I had an old roommate of mine who was the one who was watching The Crown. She also recommended a different show. She said it was basically Demon Slayer, but not as well known, but the exact same vibe as Demon Slayer. So said she liked it a little bit more, but you know, it depends on sort of what you're looking for out of your show. So I've been interested in checking that out too.
What's that one called?
It was super not in English. The name of it
Got it.
was roll up a little bit. We were talking about Tim Robinson. So I told her to watch it as soon as I saw it. Oh, my phone just ran out of battery. Right.
Well, I
I
guess
forgot.
we'll never know.
Yep. Yeah. You guys can find out next week on Dragon Ball Z. 1 second.
So I'm not sure what I'm doing here. I think the concept I'm going for is only part of the Hulk is angry. Maybe not the bottom half.
Anyways, my water bottle, I just wanted to say real quick, I got this thing, I love it. It's got a Brita filter in it. I can put ice in it. It's got like a fill line, tells you where to fill it up to so it doesn't overfill. But what weirds me out about it is that in order to drink from it, it's got this like tube right here, and it's like a suction-y tube, so like you can't just like take the water bottle and go like glug 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 glug, because that don't work. So what you gotta do is you gotta like take the tube and you just gotta suck on it. So like if you, no matter where the water bottle is at, in order to drink from it, you just gotta keep it like level to the ground, and then like.
It's a weird water bottle.
It's a good water bottle, but I've never realized how much the act of tilting the drink back to my face is part of the experience of a drink, I guess.
Right. It's, you know, it's my favorite part of drinking is the tilt.
Yeah, the tilt. It's vital.
Zone Dog says, is the show on the road next week? I don't know. We'll have to see. That's a solid maybe.
Yeah, you guys are the ones who are sort of leading the convoy here. I'm literally just being schlepped around, and I have no idea what's happening when or where. So it's gonna be up to you guys what happens. It would be cool if we got like a 3-man episode, like we had you and me and Austin in the same room doing a DrawBomb. That would be a very sort of classic scenario, I think.
It's possible. It's definitely.
But also, like, we do, like, my flight is the very next morning, so like how possible that is.
Oh right. Yeah. What time do you fly out?
Let me find out. Loading. So, my flight out is at 11:30 in the morning.
Okay. Not too shabby.
Yeah. Whether or not it's possible to do an 8 o'clock DrawBomb stream. Or is that 8 o'clock Central Time?
Oh,
or is
yeah,
this like all in...
Okay, yeah, so it's a different time, that's right. Isn't it an hour behind?
Yeah, Chicago is Central Time, so that's an hour. Doesn't really say what time zone each is in. I'm gonna have to assume that Chicago O'Hare's times are in Central Time, like where the airport is located, and then so like my 2-hour flight actually just became a 3-hour flight now that I think about it.
That's how they get you.
How they get you?
They sneak in those hours. Yeah, it was weird. When we went to Alaska, we flew out at like, I want to say like 6 and got there at like 11 a.m. But it was like a much longer flight than that.
This time zone's like.
Yeah, it's weird. So like, it was 11 a.m., but it would have been like 5 p.m. at home. Strange.
Travel.
I know, right?
It's great. Let me see here. Extra attack says. Oh, first of all, Zone Dog says I have that, and Karen makes fun of it as my sippy cup. It's funny. It's very. It feels like that whenever I'm drinking out of it. I'm just like, okay, I only have my sips.
An adult sippy cup.
Water. Extra attack says I have a sippy cup style water bottle as well. So we're the sippy cup crew.
I don't have. Well, I guess no, that's not a sippy. I don't have one. I feel left out.
Oh no. I have to get
I have to
you
drink like an adult man. I don't.
Fucking loser.
I know.
Come sit at the kids' table at the dinner.
Damn it.
Kids' table.
I feel like an idiot. How embarrassing. So, Chicago tomorrow.
Right.
I haven't been to Chicago in probably like 5 years, which is weird because I'm not that far away from it.
Only 3 hours away, if I remember your
Even less.
conversations correctly.
Like 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Oh,
To be
okay,
exact.
that's a big difference.
15 minutes.
15 minutes is a chunk of change.
It is, I suppose. But after 2 hours, what really is another, you know? I feel like there's a threshold where if your drive is over like over 2 hours, it's just long. In my head.
The sliding, it's a sliding scale. Like the longer the drive is, the less the smaller increments of time matter.
Right.
It's like if it was a 20-minute drive and you had 15 minutes to it, it's like fucking Christ.
You just
but if
doubled
it's a
that
2-hour drive. Yeah, exactly. If it's a 2-hour drive though, and it's like an extra 15 minutes, it's just like, okay, well,
that ain't nothing.
Yeah.
Hell, I'll add 15 minutes just by stopping to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, exactly. Extra attack says I've never been to Chicago, but it's on my list. Well, me too, man. I've never been there, and about to find out what it's like.
I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I've been there a number of times, but not lately.
Not lately.
Not in a while. It's a fun city. There's some cool stuff there. You can see the bean.
The bean? I've heard about the bean.
It's chrome looking, and you and there it is, and you walk up to it, and you go, there it is. Oh, we gotta hydrate again. Leviathan Den says hi. Hi, Leviathan Den.
Hello. Welcome back. Sippy cups. I have some friends who one of them just moved out to LA, and the other ones are all over the place. But they were talking about Chicago, and they were like, the bean. I feel like the bean is definitely like
I don't know why
very
I
iconic
the bean
Chicago.
first. It's just I feel
It's
like
the first thing
every time I see people go, that's the thing that they want to get pictures of.
You know, kudos to the artist. If you make something that's so iconic for a city, gotta be a good feeling. It's like a big important city, and you're like, I made the bean. That's what everyone talks about anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm down for whatever. I don't really have any like things that I want to do necessarily while I'm there. Extra text.
Says,
oh yeah, go ahead.
He says it was made by Anish Kapoor, and fuck that guy. I don't know.
I want to know why I should hate him.
I want to know why I should fuck him.
Because he made the bean. What more does he have to do for you?
Right? Leviathan Den also says they never left, so welcome back. You never left. Don't call it a comeback, because you've been here the entire time.
It's not a comeback. It's still here.
You know what has a great opening
What's that?
sequence? I don't know. I was trying to see if I could come up with one.
That's always a good way to do it. Is just to set yourself up, and then hopefully the idea comes to you in time.
It works like 25% of the time.
I usually end up calling my own bluff.
Yeah, same.
Extra Attack says he made Vanta Black the darkest black pigment, and then he copyrighted it so that only he could use it. Oh, right, okay. I remember that, but I didn't realize it was him.
I didn't realize that. That's a dick move.
That's weird to trademark or copyright a color. I don't know. It seems like it should be not legal.
I feel like copywriting a whole ass color is, it's like copyright's gone too far, and if that's the case, I don't know. But it's also like people copyright like medicines and shit, and I feel like that's also fucked up. Like the guy who made penicillin specifically, like people were like, you should copyright this shit, and he was just like, no, because then people won't get penicillin, and that's why he's like the coolest guy ever, is because he made like one of the most life-saving drugs ever, and he did it because he's a good guy, and like he had the opportunity to capitalize, and he didn't. Like,
that's good. That's how it should be.
Copyright gets real fucking weird. Like I get it too. Like intellectual property is important, especially as artists. Like I think we both understand why.
Yeah.
Copyright is important, but at the same time, like, you know, the Disney lawyers like worked to make it so that it's like 75 years after your death, and then the copyright doesn't expire, and even then, like, Disney still has like a firm grasp on all that stuff that they've made, and like that's fine. That's like, okay, well, they still own Mickey Mouse, whatever, who gives a shit. But like the electric car is a weird scenario where like the guy who invented the electric car as a means of, you know, getting us off of our oil dependency, he had the patent for it, and then he sold it to, I believe it was Shell, and then Shell, an oil company, like took that patent and then just like fucking buried it so that no one could make electric cars. And it's just like, okay, so like you literally are one of the most responsible people for like how fucked up our world is and our climate and things like that. Just weird shit.
It is weird.
I don't have an answer.
It's also like there's certain things that should be like common sense for like what should and shouldn't be able to be copyrighted. Obviously, like you said, intellectual property is important, but like Disney is trying to like trademark like Loki right now, and it's like that's like that's from a religion, dude. Like you're stealing you're stealing Norse mythology, and you're trying to say that's Disney now. It's like, no, that's not how this works. You can't snag that up. I understand that you have a show now.
Jesus.
Yeah, seriously, I'm gonna make a cartoon or a comic book story called Jesus, and then it's like, that's mine now. It's like, that's weird. That shouldn't be allowed. I don't know. Some stuff like that, or like, I remember like Bethesda sued somebody because they used the word scroll in their title.
I did see that. So that is a weird scenario too, because it's not necessarily Bethesda's fault. It's like copyright law's fault. Because
I understand, yeah, but I'm just saying like the nature of the beast is strange. That
like
just straight up words, like just a word by itself is now owned.
Yeah.
It's really bizarre.
And I'm not sure. I never actually found out if Bethesda won that lawsuit or not. I guess they never made scrolls, so I have to assume that either they canceled the project anyway, or. But it's like, just for the folks who are at home and who don't know the scenario, so like Bethesda, they basically had to sue because they were using the name Scrolls for their game, because since Bethesda is the Elder Scrolls, it was, I don't know the exact nature of it because I'm not like a copyright expert or anything like that, but the nature of it was something like, if they didn't sue, it'd be a scenario where all of a sudden the copyright for the Elder Scrolls was like meaningless because the word Scrolls was not copy, and I don't know how that works, but that is the gist of what I've heard about that scenario.
It's really strange.
Yeah, it's just very strange. That angle.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, I think because you take something that can be so complex and make it just like a law on paper, it no longer makes common sense.
Yeah.
It starts to just be like bizarre, the stuff that people are locking down. And yeah, I don't know, it's weird. It's hard to fit common sense into something like that.
Yeah, and it's like, especially
at
like
what point is it like your own opinion versus what should actually be protected by the law?
Yeah, and I feel like, and this could be the case with copyright law nowadays, although probably not if medicine still gets copyright. Although I guess medicine gets copyright and then generic brands basically knock it off for the cheaper price. But like if something is like life-saving or like a vital necessity for the continuation of people's lives, I feel like then copyright law should be like, no, you can't copyright medicine. I think that's the case though, is like, they can't call like their shit like ibuprofen, but they can make stuff that's basically ibuprofen under a different name or something like that. Or they have found a loophole in that sort of stuff with medicine that could be either or.
Right. Yeah, it's hard to say what the right thing is, but I agree. Like, life-saving medicine should not be able to be hid behind a paywall.
Yeah. Extra Attack says, or rather, okay, so Extra Attack says, in regards to Vanta Black, the Darkest Black Pigment, or rather he didn't make it, but still, he copywrote it, is my assumption from that post. And then Stuart Semple has been making a similar shade of black, and the license says that Anish Kapoor can't use it. Everyone else can, but you legally can't buy or use it if you're Anish Kapoor or if you're buying for Anish Kapoor. Which I love
fantastic.
that. That's a fucking, whoever Stuart Semple is, you're my hero.
Right and if I'm correct, isn't it even Black or Black? Didn't he like crack it?
Did he really?
think that is what happened. I might be wrong, but the story is coming back to me. And
if he did though, that's fucking fantastic. That's beautiful. So you said, and like you were gonna. Did you have more?
Oh, no, that's it.
Okay. Extra Attack also says, fun story, in our new D&D setting, I made a god named Mjolnir because I'm pretty opposed to some of the extent of copyright law lately. I think that's fair. Mjolnir is going to be really tough too for them to lock down because the armor in Halo is called the Mjolnir armor, so it's like, you know, if Disney tries to copyright like Mjolnir, like they're gonna have a real hard time with that because a video game series that's owned by like one of the other largest companies ever already got their foot in that door.
I've said it before, but how long before movies are just called Disney's?
Right? God. No, I mean, shit. I don't even know of any movies that come out anymore that aren't Disney's.
That's true.
I saw a movie trailer today on Instagram when I was scrolling through my feed, which was, have you ever heard of the story of like Sir Gawain and the Green Knight or whatever it's fucking called?
I have not. Fill me in.
I remember what was that?
I said I have not. Fill me in.
Okay. I remember we read it. It's like a short story. It's like 3 pages long, I'm pretty sure. But I remember we read it in like school at some point. Okay. But the story is basically there's like this knight council, and these dudes are there, and then like this green knight comes in, crashes the party, and says like, "Hello there, I am the Green Knight." Like he's like undead or some shit like that. He's like, "I am the Green Knight. He who is the bravest knight." I think there's some shit about like the Green Knight's wife in there too, or something like that. I don't know the whole story. It's been a while, but so the Green Knight's like, I'm one of you who's brave. Hit me, and a year from now I will enact the exact same blow on you. So Sir Gawain is the one who offers to take up the challenge, and I think he gets the Green Knight's wife if he lives. I don't remember.
Okay.
But so anyways, so Sir Gawain steps up to the plate, and then he chops off the Green Knight's head, and then the Green Knight picks his head back up, just puts it right back on his body, and says like, "All right, man, I'll come back a year from now to do the same shit to you. See ya." And then it's like essentially like a year later, like he figures out some way to not die. I don't remember what he does to not get murdered. But anyways, so they're doing a movie version of that, a short story. So they're gonna take like a 3-page story. I think it's a 3-page story, and they're going to expand it into the length of a movie.
Huh.
And it's got the kid from Life of Pi as Sir Gawain, which is cool. I think he's a good actor, and I dig the casting choice. I'm interested in I saw the trailer, and there was like a giant stone creature who was doing some shit. Like they're definitely adding a whole bunch of extra shit.
You'd have to.
I'm assuming that, yeah, you can't just like turn like a single scene into a movie. So like I assume they're gonna like basically have him do some soul searching or some shit in that year between like meeting with the Green Knight or whatever.
Okay. I also have to imagine
so actually,
there's,
you
like,
know what?
the stress of it like approaching
Yeah.
could be part of like,
I think
the
actually,
psychological-
I think also in order for the Green Knight thing to happen, like he has to go to where the Green Knight is that year. Like the Green Knight meets them at their like round table, and then like a year from then he has to go to where the Green Knight is. And I imagine the traveling to there is gonna take up a chunk of the movie. But yeah, I have to imagine like the stress of like how am I gonna not get my head chopped off in a year is also there.
Huh. Interesting. Extra Tech says Green Knight looks cool as fuck. Can't wait to see it. Huh, nice.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's cool that, I mean, shit, if you're gonna take anything, like finally it's something that not everyone's heard of, you know? Like instead of like doing another Disney.
Yeah. Leviathan Den says, if you come fold my clothes, I'll donate $50 right now. I feel
Sorry,
like
I just did a lot of
getting
clothes
to your
folding
clothes.
today.
I feel like getting to your clothes will cost me more than $50.
True. I also just folded a bunch of clothing today. Don't feel like doing it again. And also, if you had seen how the folding process for my clothing went, you'd be like, I'll pay you $50 not to fold my clothes.
Is it even folding at that point? It's like crumpling. I
Throw it in the way.
I don't know what your folding technique is like.
You know, I actually YouTubed a bunch of folding techniques today because I was like, they just came out so shitty, and I was trying to pack a tiny duffel bag. So I fucking like was like, okay, I need these to fit a little better. Could look up how to actually fold a hoodie, and like it was only one hoodie, so I wasn't folding like a bunch of hoodies, but I should learn how to fold at least one, so that I don't have it taking up like half the bag like it is right now. It was tough.
Leviathan Den says, yo, last chance, ladies. Alright, I'll come fold. I'll be right there. Ian, you carry the shell. I have to go to Leviathan Den's clothes. They need folding.
Alright. Going. Okay. Leviathan Den, if you just wait outside your door any minute now, Brandon should be knocking. I've heard Brandon describe his folding technique as incinerating. Like he just takes the clothes and throws them in an incinerator, and then he's like done when you're not looking, and then that's like your clothes are folded. Like look how nice and clean your drawer is. It's so folded. Hey, how'd the
I
folding
just
go?
remembered I don't know where he lives, so I was
shit. Hey,
able to
Leviathan Den. Post your address and social security number in the chat for us.
yeah, and then we'll be right there to fold your clothes. Put your credit card number as well, you know, that just will help for verification purposes.
100%. Verification number, credit card number, social security number, address, mother's maiden name, date of birth, first last
Favorite
name.
color,
Color.
first
Average
pet,
wings,
pet's name.
velocity, Captain Swallow. Yeah, it's at the corner of Layman Street, and go fuck yourself. Whoa, we're getting real
Wow. I
real
wonder who the city
spicy
planners-
over here.
Who are the city planners that allowed these street names? I don't know. But you live in an edgy town, that's for sure.
Probably like one of my city's skyline streets.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, that would be. Welcome to Poop Street, corner of poop and fart.
poop and fart. I always put a DeVry University in City Skyline. Like, I got the University expansion pack. And I don't know why I don't go to. I have nothing against DeVry University, but every time I play City Skylines, I like start making the university. And like the one time I was just like, what should I call this fucking fake university at? And I just thought it would be so funny if I called it DeVry.
We are.
just do that every city.
We are just at about 10 o'clock.
Alright, I'm just gonna real quick
Color
this
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. And I was gonna color the Iron Man mask real quick so that you got the idea that it was like a rusty mask. If you want, you can totally get started on that too. I really like how your Hulk colors came out. Those are some nice, vibrant colors.
Oh, thank you.
What could you do with the shading?
I'll start coloring some parts, but I'll leave the main stuff to you. Iron Man. He's part man, part iron?
He's just wearing an iron mask.
Oh, okay. And he's got a orange slice on his chest, which is the scariest part.
Yeah, that's the juicer for the orange slice. Is juicing. Leviathan Den says, I'm a watcher, not a tour guide. Figure it out for yourselves. And then he says, little Hangover reference. So, the reference to the classic film, Little Hangover.
That's the one where it's all the characters when they're kids.
Yeah, they all get really fucked up and they forget where they left their friend in Vegas.
They have too much candy, on Halloween night, and
I would totally watch a movie where it's like a bunch of kids who get drunk and then like was that like a sound? Was that your cat? Was that outside your window? What was that noise?
I'm not sure. I think it might have been the cat. It also could have been outside the window.
It was very loud if your microphone picked it up.
It's true. It's probably the cat. He's back there.
Thanks.
He's back there doing cat stuff. He's been good. He's pretty chill. He lets us like mostly pick him up and pet him and everything because he was feral. Talked about it a little bit last episode. Yeah, he's doing good. Now he's like comfortable. He was been kind of like, I think, comfortable being in his cage because he's scared of people. But now that he's getting comfortable with us, now he wants out of the cage. So
of course.
So yeah, and we're getting there. I think we let him out like to play and stuff, but we keep him in there most of the time. He's very small yet. I think a little too small to be just let free yet.
He's a cute fellow though. I showed my parents the pictures of the kitty, and my mom was like, "Oh my god,
Yeah,
look at that cute little baby."
Hopefully he's not a monster.
He's got an interesting, like she mentioned it, and I've noticed this too, but he's got an interesting like pattern on it.
Yeah.
It kind of looks like a lynx or something like that. I'm not sure what the exact animal I'm thinking of is.
There's a breed called Bengal, which is like a really expensive type of cat. So I don't think it's that. I just think he's like a tabby, but he definitely has like spots like a leopard or like those Bengal cats do. So it's kind of cool, but I don't know. We just found him in an alley. Actually, we found him in a van. He was hiding under an old like junked out van. No.
What if you found out you just accidentally adopted like a jungle cat? What would you do?
Boy, that'd be something. I don't know. I'd treat him the same. Why is there a jungle cat in a van in the middle of Grand Rapids, Michigan?
Alright, so here's my imagining, okay? So it's a traveling circus, and they've got too many animals, and then the mother jaguar or whatever, she has a kid, and so then the zoo people or the traveling circus people are like, we can't take care of another baby jaguar, we're just gonna leave him in this van over here, and then bada bing bada boom.
I actually live like a couple blocks away from a zoo, so maybe he's an escaped zoo animal.
That'd be fucked up.
That would be weird. I imagine his first vet visit will figure that out. Like, oh,
your vet just
you shouldn't have this, so we're actually gonna arrest you.
Yeah. That just like comes out, takes off their gloves, and they're just like, "Did you realize you have a tiger?" Like,
I thought he was a little big for his age.
he did keep biting me and like making big wounds.
Leviathan Den says, you need to let that dude spread his wings. He has so much potential, but not in that cage. Your cat is cool, but I can make him great. Wow. That's like those posts that are like, do you want to be famous? Click this link. I want my cat to be famous.
That's some like prosperity gospel stuff right there.
So yeah, I'm gonna let him out. I think it makes sense.
I'm hoping that Theo learns to love him as much as I already do.
I think we'll get along fine eventually. It's gonna take some time. Maybe I'm hoping in the end they're friends, because that'll make me feel better about leaving them alone if they have another cat to hang out with.
This is true. Yeah, that's why my parents ended up getting the 2 cats that we originally had. We were gonna make a trip to Iowa, and they were like, well, another cat. I'd be so alone.
Did you cats get along?
Yeah, I think they basically they tolerated each other. They never got in fights. But I don't think they ever really hung out.
I imagine there'll be a few fights, but then they'll get over it. But I don't know. We'll see. I've never raised a feral cat before, so we're kind of learning as we go.
The nice thing is usually vets will assist. Like they'll usually take on a very proactive role, and if they see like some folks are helping to take care of an animal or a rescue or something like that, I've known a lot of vets who will take a proactive role in making sure that you are informed and can reach them.
I actually already have been talking to a cat rescue in town, and they've been helping me. Like they're like paying for a lot of his like medical stuff, and they gave us some food and medicine and stuff already. So that's pretty awesome.
Right. Oh yeah, it's a super sweet deal.
Yeah. It's a good idea, like, incentivize helping out, because I think a lot of people are willing to help, they just maybe don't have the money to do it, so.
Yeah.
So it's nice. It's nice that something like that is available.
I'm just gonna real quick look up the American Horror Story logo. They just kind of do some weird shit with their O's. Have you ever seen the sort of similar thing to American Horror Story, American Crime Story?
I haven't watched it, but you've talked about it before.
Oh yeah, I have, haven't I? On the thing.
Yeah. You said you liked the murder of Versace quite a bit.
I did. It was a very good season. It's interesting because it does like a dramatized retelling of essentially the real murder of like a bunch of people, but their tone with it, I felt like, was much more respectful.
That's good. I always feel weird about that kind of thing.
Yeah, because the season, the season ends up being like, because the guy who did the murders, the Versace, who did not do anything, he was murdered, and then like the other people who were murdered also by the guy Andrew Cunanan. They were all like in the gay scene, and like they all sort of knew each other through different experiences or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So like the series explores sort of like what like gay people had to deal with in the 90s, like being gay, like the like stigmas, like don't ask, don't tell being a thing, in like people trying to like kill you if they found out that you were gay and things like that, and like gay panic being an excuse to just like kill a guy, and then saying like, oh, I had gay panic, like he came on to me, so like I killed him, and like then the judge would be like, oh, that's fair, I would totally kill a gay guy if he tried to make out with me, and like that's still a legit excuse that you can use.
That's insane.
Apparently absolutely fucking bonkers, but there's like that. So they like kind of breach all of those subjects. So it becomes like very much a yeah, just sort of it's the story of like these horrible murders that happened, and they kind of delve into like what broke the character in the first place, like the person in the first place, to like sort of like because the character is just, I keep calling the character, they're a real person who existed, but the person like was a super narcissist, and it sort of like talks about what broke and made his brain break in a way that made him the way he was. So yeah, it's very it does a lot of like sort of setting a stage. It's a very horrifying like season. Like they don't hold back on the violence at all. Like there's a scene where a dude gets his head smashed in with a statue, and it's not fun to watch.
Oh boy.
But it all, and like there's a scene of a guy cutting like off a chunk of his skin so he could get like rid of a tattoo, because like it's a sort of a gay tattoo, and like he's in the Navy, and then he finds out about don't ask don't tell, so he like cuts off his tattoo, and like it's horrifying to watch, but it all, I think, does a very good job of telling the story that's there, and like sort of contextualizing everything.
You've recommended it a few times. I should definitely watch it.
It's very good. It's again, it's hard to watch. It's hour-long episodes. It's like 10 episodes, and like it's confusing at first because they do a lot of time jumping. But then once you sort of realize what it is they're doing, it all sort of comes into focus and makes sense. And it's just yeah, it's just very, very good.
Real quick in the chat, Leviathan Jam referencing the talk about the letting the cat out before he says, I like how you were like, you know what, you drive a bargain, not a hard one, but a bargain. I'm gonna let him out. Yeah, you know, you had a very convincing argument. So he's free now. He will live his life unchained.
That's right. When you use those words and you strung them together in that order, it made sense to us.
Exactly. Zone Dog says, shameless plug, I helped make the American Horror Story Season 8 promos and the TVMA cards that come up.
Oh,
wow.
Shit, that's awesome.
That is cool. Damn. I've heard many reviewers say that was the scariest part, so congratulations.
That's right.
You did a great
Zone
job.
Dog's done a number of things. He did like a bunch of HBO like stings.
Right.
Did a couple of Reese's commercials.
It's really cool. Reese's Puffs cereal commercials?
No, well, yeah, actually the ones where the bird goes nuts and like murders a bunch of people. He did those.
Right, and then they're like, don't lay a finger on my Reese's Puff cereal. I think it's how the slogan goes.
Heard the shit out of it.
That's cool though. That's awesome.
He says, I did Sting, he is my creation. Are we talking about the wrestler or like the lead singer
musician.
of the Police?
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna ask. Or are they the same person? I've never seen the wrestler without his makeup.
Oh my god, we are cracking open a case here, everybody.
Be wild.
Oh, shit, hold on, I almost... I'm gonna get this all to line up. Okie dokes.
The American Horror Story Cinematic Universe.
That's right. There is sort of one, I think. Didn't one of the seasons tie all of the seasons together?
Probably. It seems like something they would totally do.
Yeah. I don't know which one that was. I feel like that happened though.
Ian, I have an important question for you. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. This is the last thing, and then feel free to ask your question, which I know what the answer is already because I know what the question is. But I feel like for that show, like a season will seasons have come out, and I will either hear about them or I'll hear nothing about them. And if I hear about the season, like everyone's just talking about it until the season's over, and then if I don't, then they'll be like, okay, well now we're on American Horror Story season 13, and I was just like, where were the other 5 seasons that happened between then? And it's, well, they came out, you just didn't hear people talk about them.
Some hit harder than others, it seems.
Yeah. That's all. So anyways, to answer your question, every Monday at 8 p.m.
That was going to be the question.
Every Monday at 8 p.m. I do a thing. It's really dumb. I don't like it. I wish it would stop. It's just it takes so much of my
Oh.
time up. It's called DrawBomb.
Oh god.
It's these two dinguses just like sit around and talk
Oh.
about TV and movies and sometimes video games. The one guy talked about King of the Hill for 2 hours straight. So annoying. But anyway, you should go watch it. Who's that? So yeah, you guys should go watch it. 8 o'clock Eastern time. DrawBomb. For your health.
Check it out.
How about you, Brandon? Do you have anything that you would like to plug?
Boy, you know, I was just about to plug the same thing, but you beat me to it.
Oh.
So no, I don't have anything this week. Hydrate. Cheers.
Okay. Just start playing the music theme. We'll just drink all the way through it.
That sounds good. Here we go.
Sippy cup. Wow, I could hear you chugging away at that thing.
I went for it.
You really did.
Leviathan Death
Can't
says,
talk now.
I almost just drowned. Leviathan Death says, if you ever sully DrawBomb's name again, Top Cat, I'll drive to your home and pistol whip you in the Adam's apple.
Oh my god.
I like it.
I can't talk now.
This is
I'll
like
make
a
a piss.
this is like a Green Knight situation. So, you know,
Oh yeah, and then
he
a
actually,
year
he'll
from
show
now,
up to your house in a year and pistol whip you.
pistol whip you right in the Adam's apple. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining in today. We all appreciate you and love you. Bye.
Bye bye.